Right, and welcome. So today we have Sharon, who's going to share with us all of her tips and how she recovered from long COVID. So without further ado, Sharon, because I know you've got so many amazing things that you can help other people with. Could I just start by obviously you were in shielding and then
Yeah,
you were completely isolated from the world. Then you got COVID.
I did.
And can you tell me just very briefly, how did you start your road to recovery?
Um, I was quite poorly in the beginning, so I was struggling with breathing and things like that. And then when the physical symptoms eased, I had some time off work. I was referred to a long COVID service. I went through a couple of those, and nothing really seemed to help that well. It was just time. I went back to work, but I was kind of limping along, doing a few hours here and there. Um, and I had looked at supplements. I tried some of those, and I was just scratching the surface of what else can I do, desperate to find an answer. Um, I was guided towards some reading around recovery stories, so I started to understand that it was possible. And then I was guided towards your fantastic book. Um, and I put that on my Audible because at that time I couldn't read very well. Um, and I just started following it. Um,
Wow.
and here we are.
So what can you remember what was maybe the first thing that you started to practice? So the really interesting thing you said just there is you found out it was possible to recover, which
Absolutely,
is
100%.
how the book starts,
Yeah,
because we need
yeah,
to know it's possible, don't we? And you read books to show it was possible.
yes,
And then
yeah,
once you thought, oh, wow, what if I can? What was the next thing that you practiced? So you got the book and you were doing it on Audible.
yeah, yeah.
What do you remember practicing in the beginning that started to make the difference?
Um, I started to work on some of the vagus nerve bits and pieces, but the first thing I did was I started talking to my cats in a very lovely, almost like Disney-esque voice, because that's turning my vagus nerve, and it wasn't effortful, and I was talking to them anyway. I just changed the tone of it. And I would find myself walking around smiling because then I'm feeding my vagus nerve, and that wasn't effortful. And the thing is, it you don't have to feel it, right? Because your brain doesn't know what you feel; it doesn't really care. But if you're activating those muscles that make you feel happy, then your brain is getting all of that information that, oh, we're okay, then we're fine, and that's just starting to feed that dialing down that fear response process. And it was just like, it's like magic, isn't it? You just feel
Absolutely.
like you've got the power in your hands, like, oh, I can do this, I just need to know how to do it, and then I can just do that. Then
Yeah.
it's quite wonderful.
It is extraordinary for anybody who doesn't know Vegas. I mean, it's become a very
Yeah.
well-known thing, but for anybody who doesn't know about the Vegas, we're talking about the wandering nerve in the body that is a two-way pathway. It goes down to the body and it feeds back. And so when you say that you use the tone of voice, so the vagus nerve goes into our auditory system, it goes into our facial muscles, down through the throat for making that noise. And then that is attached to our heart and our lungs, and it's feeding back signals that I'm okay. And when
Yeah.
it gets the signals that I'm okay, it literally turns off that protective system that had been creating so many symptoms for you. So that
Hmm.
is so wonderful. I know in that you read the book before coming on the Reset to Thrive program.
Uh-huh.
And I made such a big issue of non-verbal signals because
Hmm.
80% of the feedback is actually going to the brain using your non-verbal signals and your
Hmm.
autonomic system. And how amazing is that? And I love that you said, and it was effortless because we don't have any energy in the beginning.
No,
And
it was easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't need to expend a lot of energy. And yet
No.
you were literally activating your whole healthy nervous system,
Yeah.
your vagal system, and retraining that you don't need to keep protecting me because actually I'm okay. Look, I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
Listen
Yeah.
to this tone. That is
Yeah.
genius. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's where it
Brilliant.
started.
That's fantastic. And then what do you remember needing to do?
I started working on my language, and I just I changed. I tried to change. I needed to have external prods by my family, but I would, instead of saying if I'd say, well, when I recover. So,
Very
and
good.
things like this will pass,
Predictive
and
theory.
and
Yep.
yeah, and things like, well, this will pass, and I acknowledge this isn't a brilliant day, but that's all right. It's not going to last forever, and just taking the energy out of it, because I think before then I'd just very much spiraled into the thinking about, oh, this will never end. When will it be normal? Maybe it won't be that way. Maybe I'll be like this forever. And I just stopped all of that. And I
Amazing.
had in my head, right, other people have recovered from all kinds of things. Why not me? Like,
Absolutely.
what makes them so
Oh,
different? Why not me? I can do
absolutely.
that. We're
Yeah.
all made of the same sort of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Why
And
not?
and how and how well can I be? How and approach it. And I just approached it with, oh, I wonder what will happen when, or I wonder what this will be like, and just
Exactly.
started to shift the thinking in my head around it.
It's the whole thing about having that acceptance temporarily that
Hmm.
actually this is okay. This is not going to last. I'm just going to let it pass. But also knowing that ultimately, well, what if I do recover just like everybody else? Why shouldn't I? And it's
Yeah,
that lovely
absolutely.
blend, isn't it, of being in the moment and being okay with being in that moment because we're
Yeah.
safe, but also predicting that we're going to be okay, which is a huge part of all the research into
Mhm.
neurological conditions and functional neurological. That when we predict we're going to be okay, the brain starts saying, oh, okay, I've got that. I
Yeah.
can structure that and I can then anticipate that you're going to be okay next time you meet the
Yeah.
stairs or next time you do this. And it's a real
Yeah.
snowball effect, isn't it?
It is. And I knew from work that neuroplasticity works because I use it all the time at work. And
Mm,
um and I was thinking, I need to create different connections, because up until that point my whole feeling around COVID from 2020 all the
mm,
way through was massively negative.
yeah.
It was a bit doom and gloom. So I was sitting
And
in that spiral, which didn't help at all.
but completely understandable. I mean, it
Yeah.
is devastating.
Yeah.
It's so devastating and takes away so much of who we are. It takes away our purpose. It takes away our
Hmm.
identity. So it's completely understandable that we fall into this state of absolute doom and devastation. And then we notice actually, even though that is understandable, it's not enabling me to recover. So I did
No, no.
change my language and my nonverbal signals.
Mm.
And did you start to notice? Did you start to notice when you were feeling better?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks after after I
Wow.
started practicing the fearless because I was listening to it. I got myself a notebook and I wrote the letters out and I did my little drawings and I would look at that page every day, not for a long time, just to make myself remember.
This, sorry,
And
the fearless, these are the tools that we talk about in the
sorry.
book, which is actually an acronym for the things that we need to be considering, which is, our focus and actually exertion and enjoying
Mhm.
exertion. Even if that means just talking to your cats or sitting doing a very simple somatic exercise. It's
Mhm.
anything that is movement. So the Fearless acronym is you wrote it all down and you had
I
did you
did.
have little symbols?
I did.
Excellent.
And I just kept saying, I'm just gonna get better. Like this is just a process I'm on. And I treated it very much like it is just a process. I just have to work through it, and in the end, it'll be fine. And I started
Exactly.
to. I think some of the bits in the book that I liked is um, the sciencey bits, but not overwhelming, but just so I could understand, because the bodily sensations are huge. They feel terrible, but if
Mm.
you know what that is, I used to wander around and think, oh, that's just my chemical soup. That's all it is. It's just chemical soup, and the recipe's not right at the minute, but that's fine. And I tried to be as nonchalant about it as possible
Mm.
and
And
just
I
take
love
it.
that. I
Yeah.
love the it's just fabulous that you listened to the Breaking Free book. Then you came on the Reset to Thrive training program,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
complements the book. And I remember you talking in the free community chat about
Oh,
the chemical soup,
chemical
and
soup.
that was the whole thing about, reframing and seeing it differently. So actually, I am safe. It's
Yeah.
just chemical soup running around.
Yeah.
And how I'm really fascinated because you've you seemed very quickly, once you knew it was possible, and
Hmm.
once you had some tools, you seemed very quickly become nonchalant and turn it into, brilliantly.
Hmm.
Do you think before you took ill that you had that attitude? Is that something you were very well practiced at doing?
I had a mind over matter attitude, and I did have um this sense of, well, you could just do anything, couldn't you, if you put your mind to it? Like anything is truly possible because all human beings are fairly equal, really.
Yeah,
Um, and I think, yeah, as a person, I do think that I do think you can achieve whatever you put your mind to, within reason. But I and I'm really stubborn, and I and I really don't like being beaten. And I felt like this condition was just getting the better of me, and just once I got hold of a toolkit and a process that was
yeah,
really clear. I think that's the thing. It was so clear. Um, it was great. Like it, it was there was nothing woolly about it. It was, we'll just do this and it
yeah.
will just start to change things. And it just did.
Because it is based on science, it's based on
Absolutely.
how the body works.
Yeah.
Because it's very much not just neural plasticity, which obviously is part of it, but massively it is learning how to give feedback from your body
Hmm.
to enable the brain to recognize you're safe. So the body's doing so much work in everything that you're doing, in your tone of voice, in your facial expression, in the way that you're dealing with today, that, okay, not a great day, that's okay, I'll just let that pass. Or it could
Yeah.
have just been, you probably noticed it didn't go on for a whole day when you did let it pass, because that's becoming, that wonderful accepting mindfulness, not giving into it, but simply
Hmm.
going with it and learning how to be okay with that, which is such
Yeah.
a part of having symptoms and having setbacks and crashes. And it's just, okay, come on. And
Mm.
I love, I love how you approached it all. And then you have fully recovered.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And then that's the second part of the book and the second
Yeah.
part of the training program.
Yeah.
So, can you let me know what have you discovered about yourself and
Oof.
discovered about doing life
Yeah.
that actually will enable you to be a better version of yourself than you were before?
Yeah. I think about my long COVID as a bit of a dark gift because I think I do many more of the things that I knew were quite nourishing beforehand. I do them more regularly now. Um, I listen to my body a lot more. I am much more compassionate than I was, and I thought I was compassionate before.
Yeah.
I am more than I was before. Um, I'm really interested in people's experiences, but with a level of richness that I didn't have before. It's almost like being a little bit more authentic. I know that sounds, but
That's exactly it.
but there is something in that. And I'm at that phase now where I think I'm trying to work out what's next. Like I'm not sure that my job suits me well now. There are things about the way that I was living before that maybe don't suit me now, and I haven't quite found where I fit. I'm in tune with my body a lot more. I notice when I'm running on empty, and I know how to do something about that.
Yeah.
I'm just much more aware. I'm much more able to self-regulate, which is joyous.
And it is that thing that for many of us, we were so focused on getting on with life that
Yeah,
we did ignore lots of signs. Even
yeah.
before COVID, you may have had signs that you are pushing it too much.
Oh my word, yeah. If it wasn't COVID, it would have been something else. I was
Yeah.
flat out at work, doing two courses at once, like
Mhm.
not really paying any attention to well-being, just working harder and faster, trying to fit everything in.
Yeah.
Um, Never saying no, just running on empty, really. So if it wasn't COVID, could have been any one a number of things that would have stopped me in my tracks and made me, quieten down and listen. So yeah, so it's been a bit of a gift, I think.
Yeah, I called it the gift of Emmy. The
Did you?
well, after at the time, it doesn't feel like a gift, but
No,
actually,
of course not.
when you look for what is this trying to tell
Mm.
me, what is my wake up call,
Yeah,
then actually you do discover that maybe I wasn't doing life a really healthy way,
mm.
sustainable way. It works for a very
Yeah,
long time. It's interesting because the majority of people tend to be in that sort of 30 to 40 age range.
mm.
You know, I know it does happen with children and younger people, but the body is so resilient, is so
Yeah,
incredibly robust that you can keep running on empty for a very, very long time. And
absolutely.
I remember in the book, I referred to the general adapter syndrome, where you go into the second stage of resistance,
Mm.
and that stage can go on for years, where you've got little
Yeah,
signs that things aren't great, but I can keep going, I can keep going, I can keep going, and
yeah,
it's only the final stage of exhaustion that says,
yeah,
okay. enough. So you've actually
Yeah.
learned, and so you're putting into practice all the things that you learned on the program for recovery because
Yeah.
they're actually tools for living healthily. And you've also done, the whole basis of the book is we need to live as nature intended because you
Mm,
can't thrive in an environment that is adverse. So you've actually included a nurturing
mm.
environment into your life, brought joy into your life, doing things that enrich you, which is
Yes, definitely.
so
Yeah.
important.
I Yeah, I think there are bits that that still need tweaking. I
Mm,
don't think I'm not quite the social butterfly I used to be. Um, and that's something I want to get back to in the new year. But I almost didn't want to rush back to doing everything I did on like a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. And I
mhm.
didn't want to go back to doing that until I had a bit of time of
Yeah,
being good and then
good.
be able to think, okay, what is it I really want to do? And then deciding to do it. I didn't want to just go back to being how I was
Exactly.
because I need a bit of time to analyze, I suppose, and work out what I need life to give me and what I want to spend my time doing.
Yeah, time to discover what you need and what is good for you.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Time is so precious, and actually learning to look after ourselves and give ourselves time is
Mm,
one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves.
it
And
is.
did you have to learn any defense skills? A lot of people before
Mhm.
were living on empty because they'd never learned to say no and offload. How did you
Yeah.
learn those defense skills that actually, I'm not going to take that on? So that's part two
If
of the
I'm
book.
honest, yeah, if I'm honest, I think that's a little bit of a work in practice.
Mm.
What I tend to do is um, I I get over involved or I'll say yes as a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and then I might lose a bit of sleep on it, and the next day I'll go, do you know that I said that yesterday? Well, I'm not going to do that because that just doesn't fit me. Or sometimes I'll analyze why
Amazing.
it doesn't fit me, and I'll think, oh no, I need to do it because I'm saying I'm uncomfortable about it because it's challenging me, and challenge is fine. But I do. It is a work in progress because I am a bit of a people pleaser, and I am working on that
And
definitely. But I
that's
am aware of it, and I don't think I was before, and I don't think I thought there was an option to say no. And I don't think I thought it was okay to just, work at 70%. I thought it was the done thing to go and pull out all the stops and give everything your level best all the time.
yeah,
Um, and I didn't appreciate that I actually don't have to.
that's what we call it on
um,
the program. 70% is good enough. And
absolutely.
actually what you said is so interesting for anybody going through recovery and later on as you recover. Because of course you still run the patterns of a lifetime. That's completely
Yeah,
normal. But actually you can then go back and say, actually, now I've had time to think about it, had a little pause, that isn't reasonable.
yeah,
So it's completely normal in the beginning to have the natural reaction, whatever it is, whether it's, my focus is on all the problems or I just say yes to everything. Then we have the opportunity to learn to express
mm,
ourselves and go back and
yeah,
say, actually, no. So that awareness is such a massive part of well-being, not just
yeah,
perception, becoming aware of your body and listening to your body, but also what you're doing now is an amazing core part of staying healthy, of noticing
yeah,
I'm running that pattern and actually, okay, so it's kicked off automatically because it is the dominant one, but I
mhm,
have the opportunity now to go back and do something else. Wow, that's
yeah.
brilliant.
This is
Brilliant.
what I mean. It's a dark gift, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
given more than it's taken away, really.
Oh, becoming
Yeah.
better than you were. So, just very quickly,
Hmm.
before we finish, I know you joined the peer support and the Nearly There
Hmm.
recovery
Yeah.
programs. And from that, you had buddy systems. So
Yeah.
you join up with other people so that you can carry on having ongoing support. Are you
Yes.
still involved in the buddy system? Do you enjoy having that
Yes.
support once you've finished the structured classes?
Yeah. It's really good to be able to have a dialogue with people who've been where you've been and have done some of the recovery bits that you've done, because there's a common that we don't have to explain ourselves. There's like a common
Yeah,
language,
yeah,
and it increases accountability, because
yeah.
sometimes we'll use language that's ingrained, and someone will go, I'm not sure you meant to use that word.
Oh,
Have you I'm not sure that,
that's
so
excellent.
that's really good. And I think there's an openness to it, and like there's an authenticness to it that I don't think you often find. Do you know what I mean? We're yeah, we're not always being really polite with each other. We're being genuinely honest. And there's something about exploring emotion with people who, you've never met,
Mhm.
but they're very genuine. And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
It's like the best of human connection in a way. It's lovely.
that's so wonderful. So, and actually, as we talk about on the course and set up the peer support, etc., Nikki set up the peer support
Mhm.
um, brilliantly. Social connection is so important for
Mm,
well-being and happiness, and having that connection with the right people. So, not going
yeah,
on these forums that are, doom and gloom and
I've done that. Yeah.
really horrid.
Yeah.
Actually being able to connect with a group of people that are on the same page, that are nurturing, but it also keeps you on track because it's, I know some people are real independent learners.
Mhm.
They can go off and do it on their own. I was very
Yeah.
much an independent learner. Um, but for most people, it's so important just to have somebody there to say, how are you doing?
Mm,
And, oh, do you really want to be taking on another master's degree when you're in the middle of
yeah.
doing this? And just giving you the opportunity to reflect. So
Yeah.
I'm so, so happy that you're carrying on with your
Mm,
buddy system once you
it's
recover.
good.
It's
Yeah, it gives you confidence as well. There's nothing quite like giving somebody like your words of wisdom and them going, oh, that worked really well, or oh, I haven't thought about that in that way before.
yeah,
Um, because it gives you confidence in your recovery as well. It gives you confidence that, oh, you do know stuff and you have recovered, and isn't that brilliant? You can pay that forward. It's lovely.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
So just to finish off, if you
Mhm.
had one thing to share with others,
Oh.
what would you suggest people start with that resonated for you?
Um, I would start with a fundamental belief, the knowing that you absolutely can recover. You maybe don't know how you're going to do that right now, but you absolutely can. There is
Absolutely.
nothing you cannot do in terms of recovery. You just have to believe it, because it's your saying, isn't it, Jan? It's like the drop of arsenic in a glass of wine. Any doubt
Exactly.
whatsoever um makes your nervous system fire up. You have to believe in your heart of hearts that it's completely possible.
Absolutely. No, it's completely
Mm.
possible.
Yeah,
Listen to stories of people that
yeah,
have, and if they can, you can.
yeah, yeah. Why not you? Why not you?
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so, so much.
You're
So,
very welcome.
thank you everybody for listening. And if you would like to get hold of my book, I'm actually bringing out a second edition on May 2026, hopefully, which will be translated into different languages. And also, if anybody does want to come, the Reset to Thrive program, because it is such an amazing community. And
Is
I think you'll find that just what incredibly supportive, nurturing people are there to lift us up and carry us through. Amazing.
definitely.
Oh, thank you
Mm.
so much, Sharon. Thank you
You're very
so
welcome. Thank
much.
you for writing your book.
Oh, bless.